Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, members of the planning board. The first and only item before you tonight is a text amendment to correct a conflict within our Unified Development Ordinance. As you recall, the Unified Development Ordinance was adopted in January of became effective in January of 2021. And as time progresses, we're finding little details that we need to correct. This particular detail relates to ground signs within the downtown core and downtown periphery district. A business owner within the downtown core district approached us to inquire about a sign, and this conflict in our ordinance was discovered. The ordinance sections that are applicable here are section 3.5.3, subsection E5, 3.5.4, subsection E5, and I apologize, in the handout, the numbering continued, as well as section 5.11.9, which is a chart, and specifically subsection E3 within those are to be modified. The first two sections, let me back up. Ground signs, as defined in our Unified Development Ordinance, is essentially any freestanding sign that is connected to the ground. The town of Zebulon carried over one of our zoning code requirements that prohibited pole signs, but we did still allow for monument and other styles of ground signs. However, in accordance with section 3.5.3 and 3.5.4, which regulated the downtown core as well as the downtown periphery zoning districts, it excluded those as signs that were permitted. However, it was discovered in section 5.11.9 that they were permitted. However, when we were reviewing this, we noted that under the existing regulations, an individual would be able to construct a sign that would be 15 feet tall for mixed-use lots, or 6 feet, or commercial lots, and 6 feet within residential lots. We reviewed this as well as what the surrounding neighborhoods or surrounding communities had, and realized that was pretty excessive for our residential districts as well as our mixed-use downtown core and downtown periphery districts. So staff is before you tonight to present text that would allow for the signs to be located in those two districts under Chapter 3, as well as a modification to table 5.11.9 subsection E3, which would establish maximum height of ground signs for residential to 3 feet, for office and institutional to 4 feet, for neighborhood commercial to 4 feet, for GC and HC, which is general commercial and heavy commercial, to 6 feet, and then downtown core and downtown periphery to 3 feet, and 15 feet for light industrial, heavy industrial, as well as community or civic industrial. The 3 feet within the downtown core district is actually in keeping with the vision safety because these signs are allowed to be located right up to the front property line, whereas in other districts it requires them to be set back. At 3 feet, it's still visible for a vehicle to see over them, and that is also consistent with the maximum height for our sandwich board signs, which are permissible within the sidewalk. But I am available if you have any questions, and looking for a affirmative recommendation from the planning board tonight as well. Sure.
Says that non-residential districts maximum height is increased by 1 foot for every 10 foot that sign is set back. Now I realize that could come into that in the downtown core, but I'm not really worried about it. I just want to understand it. What you're trying to accomplish. Now I agree that further back the sign is, the longer it should be.
Well, for a downtown core as well as a downtown periphery, when new businesses come in, the configurations for the site design really encourage the building to be brought up close to the property line. In our downtown core, we actually encourage it to be brought up immediate to the property line. In certain situations, though, for heavy commercial as an example, where the building is set farther back, that height allows for additional visibility. This would be very applicable to a situation, let's say if the site that Dallas Pierce is on, let's say he wanted to renovate the site and change some things around. If he took up the sign in the building and put the building back down, under our current regulations, he would not be able to reestablish that sign once it's removed. The particular business owner is a neighboring business owner down there. He originally, at one point, had a pole sign, or the previous business did, had a pole sign many years ago. And in the past 5 or 6 years, that pole sign was removed. They're looking to just reestablish a monument sign or a ground sign in the same location as that pole sign was located.
Okay, and I understand that. I'm just saying that if you've got maximum height here under, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking the old terminology, so I'm getting used to what you're doing.
That's right.
But let's say that what would be a big commercial,
Mm-hmm.
it shows that a 6-foot height is the maximum, but that's not really the maximum if they can get a further setback. Is that right?
That's correct.
The only other question that I have is, it says maximum sign face area 36, length times height, or width times height, I don't know what to call it. Explain what those limitations are. It says 36. 36 what?
That should be 36 square feet. I apologize, that part of the UDO was not being amended.
That's what I thought it was, but it never said it
Yeah.
anywhere. And for clarification, I would suggest that that be added.
I agree.
Somebody else?
As well as in section 3, we have the same thing where it says 36.
Excuse me, David, could you speak into your microphone for us?
As well as in section 3, it has the same, just 36, and I think it should be specific to say 36 square feet.
Right.
If that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and anywhere it says 36, go ahead and, I think, describe it, and you're gonna fuss at me, because I'm... Okay. That's all I really had, is clarification on those.
Okay.
Those two. There's nowhere really, except maybe the Rite Aid, where they could get a setback that would allow a height above the 3 feet that's allowed. But Rite Aid, whenever it becomes what it's going to be, could theoretically do that.
That is correct, if they set back, in which case the height would become less of a concern because it would not be an obstruction to.
No, and I get that. I doubt they're going to want to give up parking space, though.
Probably
You
not.
know, so, anyway, okay. Other questions from the board?
Yes,
These signs can be lit up
yes, they can be
either
illuminated.
from the inside or light shining up on them.
That I'm going to have to review. I do not know that provision off the top of my head. That's in a different section. I believe within the downtown core, in the downtown periphery, it has to be externally lit. It cannot be internally illuminated. I know in the heavy commercial, they can be internally illuminated, though.
Other questions? Okay. I will now ask if,
So, the other question I had was in this section 1 definition, it does not talk about pedestrian right-of-way. It does speak of street right-of-way, very end, ground signs are not mounted to a building wall.
Where are you
Are not
looking?
located. Section 1 definition of the table 511.9, 511.9. Under section 1 definition, the very last line, it states ground signs are not mounted to a building wall and are not located within a street right of way. We need to include pedestrian right of way as well.
what are you thinking about, the sidewalk?
Just wanting to make sure that they don't get, too close to a sidewalk that, could potentially cause an issue at some point.
The sidewalks typically are in the street right of way.
Okay.
that not correct?
That's correct. I'm
So it
trying to
would
recall
be
how it was defined.
protected by virtue of the street right of way.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
I don't know of any exceptions in town of that nature.
Okay. I just didn't know if we needed
So
to
your
be
point's well made, I get it, I'm just saying. it's
specific as saying, don't put it in somebody's walking path,
Right.
And then, I lost my train of thought. I had one other question. Is there, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there anything that states what the base of those ground signs should be material-wise? Or are they permitted to any kind of wood structure, concrete, brick?
It's going to be dependent upon the construction of the building. There's another provision within our sign regulations that require the sign bases to be comparable materials to the building.
Okay.
All right, I'll turn around this way, I'm sorry about this. Any questions from the planning board? Any other questions from the town board? Okay. I don't see anybody here, but for the record, if anybody would like to come forward and speak on this, now's the time. Okay. So we'll close the public hearing and refer the matter to the planning board for their recommendation back to the town board. Thank you, Mike. Okay, manager's report, there is none tonight, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you.